win this battle. Let's go.
Come on, Chauvet. Back to work. Must hurry, okay? People are dying. See you down there.
All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary, they can only do harm. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary, they can only do harm.
All right, namaste and lak'ech, my family, and welcome. I am here with the most gifted and talented Miss Viviane Chauvet. Viviane, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. So happy to be here with you. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I mean, I don't know. It's the Arcturians and the Lyrans are teaming up. You know what I mean? And we're here to discuss the Rise of the Guardians conference here in March. But obviously, I kind of wanted to freeform this with you. I know you've been getting a lot of downloads. I know I have over these past couple days. With everything that's going on the world, is there anything that you feel that, is relevant right now to share, obviously, for this 2025? We just started this, right? I know there's a lot of positive things. I know there's a lot of contact things. And I know there's a lot of contactees that are being pinged and, with a lot of information that's coming down the pipelines. What are some of the things that you feel that you're getting right now, that's really relevant?
Alrighty, well, let's take a deep dive because I want to share a vision. I went consciously out of body in what I call an astral experience. I want to share that. It was right before the New Year's Day. And so you talk about having a lot of information. It's going to be a pouring waterfall of information coming in from different perspectives, various gifted people around the world. So one thing I want to remind everyone is the importance of really creating a very clear discernment energy around you and to be able to take on and only carry in your field what is really uplifting you and encourage you to reach the highest potential, because 2025 this is well beyond another new calendar year. Is we just entered a cosmic gateway, and what it means is that Gaia is moving into uncharted territories. We're moving into more refined frequencies. We're moving into significantly a new era. So if you look at the synergy right at the early stage of what 2025 as a cosmic gateway represents, this is going to be well beyond the 2025 gateway. It's going to be 2026, 2027. As a perspective is look at the last 4 years alone, just the last 4 or 5 years on the planet. Human beings and Gaia, you went through a huge contraction in the field, and the dark light polarity have been really super active, creating a big, huge contraction. And it felt as if you were moving backwards in your evolution. It felt like there was no way out. It felt like the grip of manipulation and authority and all of this were beyond your reach, or beyond everyone's ability to be in your empowerment. However, this construction that you went through over the last 4 years, at the end of the calendar year 2024, it symbolized the completion of a very old paradigm. And that includes on the historical timelines level. What it means is that there's a lot of release. Human beings as a species is unwinding a lot of influences that have been carried over through ancient civilizations, influences, history also in the field in Gaia. For example, World War II, you need to clear that paradigm that no longer applies. The trauma from the fall of the Roman Empire, or, when the library of Alexandria were burned out, what it caused as a ripple effect, or the energy around Atlantis, or the first rising of Egypt, and then how Egypt has evolved and disevolved, and so forth and so forth. So we're looking at the entrance of a brand new gateway of consciousness. So Gaia is really shifting into a new dimensional space. There's going to be much more new refined frequencies of the refinement in terms of how we think, how we process our thought forms, how we carry in the field these old behavioral pattern belief systems. What is it you're ingesting too much? So on a spiritual level, what we're seeing is a release of the face of what we call the spiritual buffet. And that's going to be important for everyone, like workers, practitioners, starseed, all souls, and everyone who wants to evolve is releasing yourself to, I need to know I'm ingesting too much information, because that's no longer going to be sustained because of this new dimensional space we're moving into. So we need to unwind ourselves also from distorted patterns that has been keeping the human race as a species in the same karmic loops, hoping to create something different, but always repeating the same loops. That's going to be really important also to address and release. So what we are talking about is a release of the polar vibrational ranges. You're shifting out of that polarization. Does that make sense?
I couldn't agree more. Everyone in their dream time, everyone even their lives, the discernment right now, and really, being around people that uplift you, being with people that want to see you win, being with people that you see yourself on that higher timeline with. A great visualization I do is, imagine yourself in the future in the cities of light, or imagine yourself in the future, on a big boat, or, on the beach. Who do you see there on the beach with you? Who are some of the friends and family that, you guys can see right now that are going to be walking in this path with you? It's really important. Some of the other things too is for everyone out there is just kind of like, as you manifest and you're visualizing your stuff, what are some of the things that you find most relevant right now? It's really something that is very, paramount as far as what is necessary. I do feel like a lot of you guys are just crushing. I feel like my family, Team Light, and all of Viviane's people, hey, nice to meet you. Name's Rion. If you're new, my third eye came on in 2009, and my guides kind of put me to work since then. So I've been working on the grid. I'm a gridder, and I help adjust ley lines and whatnot. I know that Viviane also just got back from that cruise out there over the Western Caribbean, and you definitely felt the energy when he went over the Bermuda Triangle. I heard it was crazy. I was hearing about that.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
And thank you for mentioning that, because talking about the grids, we came back from the seminar at sea, and we went through what I call the Mayan timelines. And the Mayan timeline are reascending energies. So we travel right around the triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, you can feel, I personally, and I know many of us felt like a dimensional distortion. It's almost like we were being pulled on a transdimensional level. And what it means transdimensional, it's the crossing of a multitude of dimension that has nothing to do now with the 3D field. So we were pulling in all direction. And then we went also to visit many Mayan temples and runes and in sacred site. So again, that polarity energy we talked about, that release of grief, the release of the heavy burden, the release of sadness, regret, guilt, the release of these energy from the ancestral lineages, from the memory field of advanced civilization. Look at the Mayans. They have learned a lot from the Syrians, actually, and they have embodied a lot of the teachings of the Syrians, but also, they have caused a lot of grief and despair and sacrifice and all about around the heart energy, where they believe that the second soul of the human personality was right there. So there was a lot of that release that I felt also. I'd like to share, if that's okay with you, Rion, of this
Mhm.
astral experience that I talked about briefly earlier
Of
when I
course.
was shown a vision for the new gateway 2025. So I am an Arcturian being, and I
Mhm.
was appointed the task of returning into the Earth quadrant to supervise the reascension timeline. So I returned in this human hybrid form as an ambassador to do that. So whenever my Arcturian father in my delegation really wants me to consciously see an energy or a vision of things to come, what they do is that they will tell me, put your body to sleep. I'm going to take you out of your body in a higher dimensional space. And I'm very conscious of this, mind you. And we're going to take you to a place to illustrate what's happening. So just to make it short, is I was taken to this spiritual gathering, and as I entered this very large room, there was a very large couch where people were lined up. And I saw so many familiar faces and unknown faces. So I sat on what looks like a love seat, and I was just sitting by myself, like almost like floating. And I was looking at people just sitting next to each other, to that couch. And then I heard my Arcturian father said, well, we're utilizing the symbology of couches and conference room because you understand those point of reference, but you're not sitting on a couch. You're actually sitting in a spaceship. So what they were showing me is that the couches with people lining up was the Earth and the evolution of humanity. So yes, I am interacting with you. I am part of this reality in parallel with you, but I am not part of humanity. And that's what they were showing me, is that you remember that you are this ET being working with human beings. And then the next thing I know, I turned slightly my head to feel, I felt the presence of hundreds, and I saw hundreds and hundreds of ships coming behind me with from different star systems and different galaxies, different planetary system, many, many star nations coming, and they all have one thing in common. And you know what that is? It's their joy, their excitement, their eagerness to
Yes.
reconnect, yes,
Yes.
with human beings.
Yes.
And their people, the star seed says, hey, you're a soul emanation holding the frequencies of our group consciousness, and we are returning now at a point of reconnecting more consciously,
Mm.
and they're waiting. So it was fascinating for me to be feeling as if I was one of the pioneer being there holding the space with human beings, and to
Mm.
see so many coming, and they come from everywhere. I mean,
Everywhere.
right?
In Sedona, I call it the paparazzi. Like I said, my third eye's been on since '09. So, ladies and gents, imagine this. Like, it's kind of, I understand why some people get their eyes and some people are kind of hesitant sometimes to turn that third eye on. But I can say, as of late, there is so much activity in the sky. I can say that I've never seen so many crowds of beings in the astral or in these lower 4D, 5D dimensional planes. They're very excited. Kind of feels like you're in the Truman Show. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel sometimes I'm Jim Carrey, and I'm like having my coffee, and I turn around, and there's like a whole group of like. It's almost like, listen, this is what it's kind of like. It's kind of like Imagine being in like, I don't want to say the word zoo, but imagine like being in an environment where like they're one phase shift out of your reality, and they're all your homies are just lined up, and they're watching you like drinking their coffee. Like, I wonder what he's gonna do today. I wonder what he's gonna say. So what I'm trying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all sitting there watching, and like this is like ET real world. You guys are, we are the show. You're like, where's the show? They're like, you're the show. That's what you need to realize. You guys are the stars in this show. And it's interesting to feel like every single time, like, oh, we're monitored 24/7, 365. We have
Oh,
teams
yes.
of beings that are monitoring us, not only our biological readings, but our consciousness. How are we feeling? How are we moving through these times? And I think it's really important right now. And I'm really glad that we're, sharing this time right now in this world, right? At this present moment with all these shenanigans playing out. People need to realize that this is the last effort of some of this shadow stuff kind of purging from our system. This is not going to be what we're doing in the future. I know you guys feel it. Everything's going up like this, and then there's all this negative stuff coming out in the news. Oh, this happened and this happened. And these organizational negative things that are planned out are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. It's not becoming more, it's becoming less. And I just want to remind everyone of that. These guys are pushing, okay, the thing went off at the Trump Tower. Okay, there's all these weird shootings. Okay, but listen, compared to the entire planet, it's like this much. The only reason why we know about it is because it's being projected on every TV screen across the world. That is not the majority. The majority of us are happy, peaceful, excited for this golden age to start. And yes, there's going to be some things that need to play out. Me and you are kind of realists. We do understand there's a couple confrontations going on this planet. Yes, we realize that. But I also want you to realize that a lot of these things are distractions from the great things that are happening. They have to distract you 15 different ways from Tuesday so you don't pay attention to your own frequency, your own energy signature, your own higher selves, your own dreams, your own mission details and protocols that you're starting to come into alignment with. So I just want to be real with everyone out there. The more they're turning up these distractions, we are like we're going up at a 45-degree angle. We're not stopping for anyone. All we can do is try to invite as many of our friends and family to join us in a higher vibratory or a higher timeline. And that's what this is really about. It's like, hey, if you keep looking down, it's going to draw you down. Stay in your heart and keep moving up. That's how I feel about it.
100%. I love the energy you put behind it. This is why I'm so excited for this very unique event called Rise of the Guardians, because the name of itself speaks. We are rising. The Guardians are rising.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, in the spiritual and the UFO communities, let's just speak the way it is. Mm-hmm. Those who've been manipulating people, those who have been, generating fear as disguise of disclosure and information and spiritual concept, they're going to come to the light. Things are going to shift where the true potential of 2025 is rising. The old grid system is coming out. We have new grids coming in. We have reached a momentum on the planet, just like you said, Rion. And so those of us who have been building and hoping and really creating the field and supporting the rising of all of this, well, it's the time of the great rising. So unwinding yourself from the distortion, the distractions. And again, this is no longer about how much you feed your mind. It's going to be about stepping into a more refined practice, what you're cultivating, the mastery of your emotion, the mastery of reteaching your mind to open itself to higher mental energies.
Yes.
We talk about the leadership of the heart. Let's step forward in terms of what is it you're truly capable of doing versus what you think you've been doing. That's going to be really essential. And many of us have been waiting to reach this momentum because the frequencies are not there to supporting us. So the naysayer or the snake oil, charlatan and all of this, that's going to phase out.
Yes. It's almost like, how do you know it's going to phase out? It's almost like this. Like, does anyone still use a VHS to play movies on their TV?
Rewind, be kind.
Remember that? Rewind, be kind. Yeah. Hey, do you guys still go get your movies from Blockbuster? No. Think about it as these negative things are almost like old negative commercials. And once you actually start to see that, oh, wow, that was just the programming and the imagination level of these beings. Because if you're going to go doom, gloom, and chaos, there's only so many genres you're going to fit into. What, horror? I mean, have you guys gone on Netflix or seen some of the new movies? 90% are like shitty, scary movies. I'm like, I'm not watching any of this. And there's no happiness. There's no like, I mean, it's very strange to me. So it's interesting how hard the Matrix, this Phantom Matrix, the control system, how much money they spend to keep you into a negative frequency or a lower vibration. It's in the trillions. For my friends out there, you guys that are happy in your heart, happy in nature, I mean, I get just as much happiness, ladies and gents, as it's kind of funny. When I see my cardinals show up, I feel like I'm a male version of Snow White. I have like I'm in the backyard in the morning in a robe. I got Javelina coming up to me and like cardinals. I don't know. If I put a GoPro out there one time, you guys might be like, this is another Jim Carrey movie. I forget what the name of it is. But I'm like, oh, I'm like in nature and like, I'm just like, I don't even know what to tell you. I'm sitting there and seeing my birds happy, feeding them, seeing my little squirrels roll up and like get some walnuts I left. I get just as much happiness from that if someone dropped off a Ferrari in my garage. I can't tell you, honestly, in my heart. It's something that you get to a certain place where you realize that, whoa, being one with the planet.
Oh, huge.
It's so above the chatter. When I was in Maui and we were surfing, that big swell hit. And every single time I would duck dive and I'm hearing the whale song come through my eardrums, I'm going, there is no digital, there is no AI, there's nothing that can replace that on this planet. You know, I was literally seeing with my third eye when I heard the whale song, I saw the sacred geometry pattern go through the water as the sun was hitting it. And I was like, this is what it really means to be one with the planet. So I am 100% with a lot of people getting to experience that. Maybe, you know, you guys live in a big city. Hey, maybe it's time to go camping with your friends and family. Maybe it's time to go on a vacation. Maybe it's time to go to the beach. Maybe it's time to get one with nature. And I'm just trying to tell you, the reason why I like surfing in big waves is because it's kind of funny. As we get older, I guess, you don't really get like beat up or pounded unless you like fall or something. You're like, oh, my hip, or like you roll an ankle. It's different when like you're surfing in nature and you like eat it on a wave and the wave's like, hey, guess what? I'm going to body slam you now. You're going to feel nature's bosom. And I'm bouncing off the ground. And I was like, God, I have not been bounced like that in 20 years. But it was really weird. It was almost like my body needed it. And I can't explain it. It's like you need to remember that you are riding on this earth ship. You need to remember the power of Gaia and of nature. And like with surfers, when I'm immersed in that water, I'm Syrian from Series B, right? There's something in me. When I get in that water, I almost imagine like I'm from that movie Waterworld with Kevin Costner. Yeah. I swear I have energetic gills that open up right here. Like I'm like, or when I'm underwater swimming with the sea turtles, it's something that I get to do that I actually become who I really am. This is our little avatars. You know that, Viviane. Like I said, you're an Arcturian. I'm wearing my avatars. But as soon as people realize the power and presence of being one with the planet you're born on, it's something that I wish everyone could really experience, because you really do feel a part of everything, instead of what they're trying to do is make you feel separated. So you're not connected to where you get your food. You're not connected to the land. You're not connected to nature. You're in these circuit board cities, smart cities, where you're almost like a robot. I want to do, you know what I mean? That's not how we were designed. That's not what makes us happy. And following that path ultimately will end in a dead end. If you don't believe me, ask the Grays. # dead end. So I'm just trying to say they hit the wall. So there's they hit the wall. Go ahead. I mean, I know you know a lot about this, but the Grays hit a dead end.
And you're absolutely right on. And that helps to demystify the energy around the grays. There's so many groups and those who come to different timelines. But to your point, Rion, when you're returning to what the Octane call living by the essential, and whatever planet you're on, you need to be in symbiotic relationship with the environment you're in. And that helps you to stay in that energy of oneness and to understand what being a part of everything is. So the grays will look very similar at first to any organic humanoid beings. And what happened is that they went to technology, and then being true technology without a connection of the divine creator source energy right at the heart center, what happened is that technology can consume you. This is why I always says be mindful of investing too much in AI and technology and all of that. You are the most beautiful, almighty technology there is, this organic biochemistry of your body template and the connection between, nature, the bioengineer energy of Gaia, her electromagnetic field, her heart, her consciousness, just to feel the root nations of the trees or the birds or the cardinal, like you were talking, is you're redefining, you're rekindling with the profound nature of who you are. Why do you think the grays are coming so much? They want to rekindle that original divine spark of light that they used to have.
That's what it is.
Uh-huh. There you
That's what
go.
it
There we
is.
go.
So what is it that we possess that they don't? And with all that technology and all that stuff, why are they hacking their way in horizontally into our parallel reality to attach to our golden timeline? What is it that's so special inside of us right now that they can't replicate with technology?
No, it can't. And so the same thing when you look at, different form of AI, we've seen that playing in the same scenario on another planet. You're Syrians, Rion, and I knew about that, and you are really water-based. When you
Yes.
look at the Syrians, right? The Syrians in their history, they have learned when you go too deep into the polarization of technology without the maturity of the soul and the heart and the creation of consciousness, it it doesn't lead to the evolution that people think it leads to. You're going to hit a wall, and that reminds me of a
Mhm.
timeline or a sub branch of a timeline as a potential. There's no prediction here. It's more powerful as a prediction, more of a flow. But there is a branch of a timeline that has been attempted to be created by those who've been pushing non organic, natural, exactly, evolution through
Mhm.
technology, medbeds, and AI. And then you become a cyborg race.
Talk
And
about
you're
the
gonna,
trifurcation, the
yeah,
three. That's
exactly.
your content. Hit it.
Exactly right on. And so you see all these beautiful star nations coming and tell you, hey, we have gone through that. You have a living spark of light. It's called a living aura.
Mhm.
You have something that we lost generations ago because we went in that direction. So, it's not just about to fear what you've been told. Yes, there's some negative about anything, but you have to understand what you're connecting yourself to. And so these rays are coming back to learn from you or to help you remembering the
Mhm.
precious gift that you have. Yes, that divine creative spark, exactly well said. It's part of that emanation of light that we can even see. Did you know that those of us of the galactic alliances
Mhm.
who are monitoring the Earth quadrant, number one thing that we see coming from the planet is this constant emanation of energy. And
Yes.
that comes from everybody, either sparks or their God sparks or their creative
Mhm.
spark, but also your thought forms, your mental energy combined with your emotional capacity create and generate so much energy. We're constantly monitoring those emanations coming from the planet because those emanations travel far beyond this solar system and affect other planets and affect the other ships that are in proximity, affect other own worlds. So that emanation that the human race has, it's part of the celestial original template that was designed as, you were never designed as a race for war and a duality like this and be against each other and all of this. You were designed to be sacred guardians of this planet. So we're returning to that point, and this is part of the reason why we are here. We're here to help you remembering the pathway to that potential, the pathway to who you are. Ask the Lyrans. They are the guardians of the original library for the humanoid template.
Yep.
They know.
Hey, listen, I'm Lionel all day. My dude looks more like Tigress, though. And my brother here, Amun Ra, I can answer this for you. How would you even know if you're connecting to Source or a collective AI hive mind system? What do you think the nationwide fog is all about? Yeah, so I did get this. It's artificial. It is smart dust. It was supposed to monitor energy coming from the planet and movement. So they basically created this fog where they could see everything, and very large energy outputs for the next days until this is cleaned up. For all of our huge energy guardians, be aware that there is something trying to track very powerful human beings right now. Okay, number one. Yeah, so be aware. I'm saying that this is, I don't know if it's confidential anymore, but for our little group, they're trying to monitor who's awake and who's not awake. Okay. Not to mention, if you inhale it, take some things and take some Ivor or some Ivan, take some things to help clear that out. But yes, that is something that is happening right now. Okay. It is nano. It's completely artificial, and it's beyond chemtrails. And that's why it's not raining. They're dumping this fog. Well, normally when they chemtrail, it rains. Me and Viviane are in Arizona. It is so dry out here that, you know what I mean? They're just dumping this stuff. And so everyone in LA and California, they're feeling it in their lungs. What I had to do was to help you guys. One, I had to change out all the filters in my house, especially if you guys are running the heater. Number two, I had to pressure wash everything on my deck, the entire surrounding area, anything where that dust would fall. Number three, I had to take humidifiers because it's so dry. And I had to turn on humidifiers, which is kind of interesting to put on a humidifier in the winter. Usually you put that on in the summertime, right?
Right.
I have humidifiers blowing, humidified air into my invent in my house, which then is more moisture as they get, the heater turns on and it comes through the vents. So no, it was an active thing we had to do to counter some of these things. That will stop.
Yes.
That is a direct violation of our sovereign right and free will. All of these things will be held in accordance with what all these things. And let's be completely clear, for the future, these are things that you will end up in the Hague. You will end up in doing things that, crimes against humanity. You can't spray things that are trying to hurt people. All of these things will be known. All of these things are being laid out. And this is something I want to be really crystal clear with all these beings and these families. And sorry, Viviane, I know we're, not to keep it 100% real. Some of my people might want to keep it real.
Well,
go ahead. I just want to say this real quick, but every single thing is being monitored right now. Every single action. There are so many beings watching this game right now, in all dimensions in our multidimensional nature. Yes, there are some things that need to play out, but I'm also here to say that for these beings in these groups, we always said with Earth, it's a numbers game. Once a certain amount reaches critical mass and is awake, right, we can then take our consciousness and say, no, we don't want this. We do not consent to this. So I think as right now on this video, just write, we do not consent. As this video is live from United States all the way to South Africa, we do not consent to being sprayed with smart dust that is directly affecting us in a very negative way. We do not consent. We are humanity. We wish to thrive, be harmonious, come from our hearts, and live in peace on this planet. We do not deserve this sort of behavior. I do not consent to any of these things that these beings are doing that directly affects humanity. These beings are cashing checks their souls can't cash. These beings are writing checks that their soul cannot cash, in the sense that they do not have the right to do this. So I just want to be real, not to take us off topic, but our sovereignty should be spoken about in open rooms, not hidden behind things. All of California, I talked to my brother Leo King. He goes, I can't do an interview right now. There's something in my throat. I keep coughing. I think it's this fog. So what I'm trying to say is that we do not consent to being poisoned on this planet. Whoever needs to hear that, whoever Galactic Federation officer needs to shut that down, you need to go ahead and start doing your job. Because we're tired. I did not incarnate, nor did Viviane or the rest of our officers on this planet to literally be poisoned every single day. That is completely a direct violation of all galactic protocols and rights. That is an act of war. So it's not get confused. That's an act of war. So I just want to be real. We do not consent. Viviane.
And that's a very powerful affirmation for my, Octurans, we are the great diplomat and the great ambassador. So I like to add a layer to this. So when you make an affirmation, is a negative contraction to affirm a positive energy can neutralize itself. So instead of, if I may lovingly recommend, instead of a do not consent, is I step in my power and no longer authorize my body to be present. The earth is no longer authorizing so you're bringing to a very affirmative, and that's going to amplify these affirmation in the quantum field, and it's going to reflect that back into the linguistic field of Gaia and reflect it back to all the beings. And you're correct. And when with Shana and others, we came back from the galactic cruise, the galactic origin seminar at sea, and I can tell that we were in polarization. There was like very much a lot of negativity as much as they were a lot of positive energies, and I can feel something in my lungs. There was something like creeping in. I can feel that. No consent, no authority. I no longer recognize these beings as having authority. I no longer recognize what they do as important. As in fact, there was a lady during the seminar that says to me, I won't say who, but one of the speakers brought in a very dark being. And part of this being was the negative dragons, the very negative ones, the dark ones, not the positive light ones. And one of the volunteers felt the presence of a very dark being following her. And this being was telling her, oh, you must be afraid of me because I'm bigger than you. And you know what? This light warrior, this short woman, 5 foot tall, 5'1", turned around to this being and she said, I may be able to smell your breath, but I have no fear of you. And that being had no choice but to leave.
Right.
So
and I know there were some shenanigans too. Sean told me about some shenanigans that took place on that bus, and they had an insurgent in there doing negative stuff with the dark orb.
Yeah, there was someone there, and the Octurans we stepped forward. Many attendees and a few speakers came to personally thank us. The Octurans, we stepped forward to help to protect, elevate, and remind everyone of their power and their authority. No longer is I stand in my authority, boom, it's done. I stand in my authority. You no longer have any say or control over my health, my spiritual journey, what I can do, my authority. I no longer bring that energy. And we love you too, Shana, so much.
Yes.
I know you even more in your own way, but in my own way too. So we really stand. So again, Rise of the Guardians, it's an invitation to everyone joining us. And that rising is we stand truly in the true concept of what it feels like and be like to be in that sovereignty. So the word sovereignty, the word freedom, the word stepping into this state of empowerment, you have hundreds, to be very modest, but you have hundreds of Star Nation enlightened ones who are coming forward, supporting the earth, standing with the human race. One thing though, human beings, we lovingly remind you, is you also need to heal the gap between you and other species. So liberates the animals, send them free. No more enslavement. No more projecting that which has been done to you. And we understand that. We work actively to remove that concept of enslaving one species over the other. You need to release the animal kingdom to stand in the power of your love, to free yourself so you're no longer unconsciously recreating the same negative, distorted pattern, right? That's going to be super important to return to that place of honoring all life, that reverence for life. It's opening the gateway directly to reconnecting with the enlightened star nations.
Mhm.
What if there's a nation comes to you, they look like birds, or they look like pigs? Because there are some who are have, and I'll tell you, on the Arcturian starship, we
Mhm.
have some crew member that look like humanoid lobsters. So what would you tell them in their species? Oh, sorry, I'm utilizing your species. I bought them alive just to eat them. That's no longer can be in the same frequency field. You have to understand what is it, how you nourish yourself. You talk
Mhm.
about understanding the source where it's coming from. It's no longer, oh, it tastes good in my mouth. It must be good. No, this is a false paradigm. So
Right.
as you heal your as human beings as a species heal the gap between themselves and many other life form or species on the planet including Gaia, you are accelerating your reascension by 1,000-fold, by
Right.
leaps and bounds. So standing in love, thank you, it's also part of understanding that the other species who may have a different language, different
Mhm.
forms, they don't look like you, they look like they have an intelligence, they represent an aspect of creation. And so, by being a guardians of love and life, you are also understanding the true aspect of respecting yourself. And now that
Mhm.
comes through, there's no more barriers based on cultural background or linguistic differences or dialects or,
Right.
how you were raised in the part of your world. Remember one thing Gaia taught me when I was traveling all over the world, even in South Africa,
Mhm.
Egypt, England, places I've been. Gaia says, what do you expect? I am Gaia everywhere you explore. So you're returning to
Mhm.
understanding your symbiotic relationship with everything everywhere you go, even when you step outside in your yard or you go
Mhm.
to the market. You're stepping into the energy of Gaia, recognizing each other, reaching that momentum of, wow, I'm holding this orange or that lemon or that, green pepper in my hands. Smell it, feel the land it comes from, the crop, feel the abundance, feel how much the resources that we have here. I do that all the time. You should see me at a fruit market. I
Mhm.
smell everything, I touch everything, I hold it with synchronicity, of course, what I buy. And then I thank the earth as I come and I smile like I am the happiest person on the planet. And I radiate that to people around me. And people look at me and I go, did you smell that? Did you sense that?
Do you smell the frequency coming off of that thing?
I'm
Or
like,
something?
oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
for
No, and
new,
I want to answer this too, real quick. There are people who
yeah,
should be making fun of New Age believers. The outfits and the backgrounds entertaining, but making a joke of New Age is not very nice. Listen, it's really not New Age, ladies and gentlemen.
no.
It's old age, and it's actually ancient age, and that's the thing that is going to actually make most people go, "Huh?" I mean, why was the entire population? Why was the number one building built? Goodness gracious, in 1913 and after, the only thing the government was building were those insane asylums, where to put every single person that remembered what happened for about Tartaria, they locked them up. What about some of the ancient things that are hidden? Really about this. This is something I want to keep crystal clear with. You have some of these people that want to, talk about the new age stuff. You bring them right to my face, and I'll explain some things to you. About 6 months before 2012 happened, December 21st, there was an asteroid that came into orbit. And the asteroid was going to hit, they thought. The entire government in the United States and all the head people went and hid in a mountain base. Did not tell one soul on the surface. Mount Cheyenne. You guys can look this up. David Adair talks about it. All of these narratives and all of these things that are coming out, that asteroid missed us and went between us and the moon. And they didn't talk about it till, I don't know, a couple of years afterwards. David Adair talks about this. What we're trying to say is, light workers and people that are actually aware is this. There are things that we are getting from our higher selves that we wish to share with you to enlighten and awaken that God spark inside of you. You are never going to hear the truth from the government or this control system or this matrix. If that were the case, they would have told us that we almost all went to an extinct level event back in 2012. They didn't say anything. Did you guys hear about that? No. All the political leaders and everyone was hiding in a mountain. There goes the asteroid by. So what I'm trying to express to you guys is, in a real point blank way, some of us really are. And I know you guys have to use a lot of your discernment. Okay? I get it. I'm just like you. I'm also trying to say, use your discernment and feel with your heart. There are those amongst us that really are tuned in, that really do have your back, that really do want to help you, that really do want to hang out with our brothers and sisters, that aren't trying to fool you, that aren't snake oil salesmen. Now, listen, there's been a huge movement in this disclosure stuff that's really affected a lot of different speakers and people, where there were some agents set in. Viviane knows a handful. They really weren't light workers. They were sent in to disinform the public and kind of slow down this movement of real disclosure.
Oh, yes.
You know, so what I'm getting to is, you guys use your discernment, be kind to one another. But when you guys see a real one, you guys should know the difference. When you guys see people that really put their lives on the line to do real things on this planet and have video evidence and have been busting their ass for 15 years straight while most of the people slept on this planet, you should know the difference. So what I'm getting to, ladies and gents, is yes, please be kind to one another, but also realize that there are very awesome beings down here, you, that are actually here to serve humanity and our sovereignty and bring this whole entire planet back into balance. So I just want to say I love you from my heart, but I just wanted to answer that for everyone out there who gets scared of making a video because they think that they're going to be laughed at. Let all of that go. How many, very few of us were actually against the jab from the get-go? Go back in my videos and look, dude. Facebook, the entire time I said, don't take it. Now look at who actually said take it. Where they removed all the videos. The truth will always come out, right? With all these people. So just believe in your own heart and your own truth. But I just want to be crystal clear for all the people out there. You know what's up. Those that are really about helping you, they would have said something. So I just got to be real. I love you. I love you. Right here. Here we go. All these people, they know that. That's why they made movies about Earth hit by asteroids. You know what I mean? I don't want to name them because, listen, Viviane and I were very kind people. You shall find them. And you guys have access to YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. But I'm just trying to say that I love all of you guys, and I only want you guys to win. I only want this planet to come into peace and balance. You know what I mean? That's it. There is no other unwritten thing. There's no hidden agenda. I want you guys to live in peace. I want you guys to actually enjoy the life that we were given and the promises that were made by our creator to come down here and assist this planet. I want all of those terms held. You know what I mean? I want our glory. I want our peace. I want our happiness. And I want to see this planet thrive. So that's all I really have to say about that. You know what I mean? Viviane, how do you feel?
No, it's wonderful. I love your energy. I can tell you bring a Syrian energy, and it's so complementary with us, to the Arcturians. And you are right. You make discernment that says those like of us, like myself, Rion, Shana, others who are really genuine, who this is our life passion. Every day we serve humanity and this planet Gaia in many ways, putting ourselves out there. I mean, I remember the first time I came out with my life story. At first, I was presenting myself as a Arcturian hybrid, and to talk about the process, the exhaustive process we went through, so then one of us can be in this physical form and be on a planet that is non-suitable for our race. Never before Arcturians do we embody the physical form of another species. We remain into our own etheric form to communicate and assist another species. So we went above and beyond to be here. You went above and beyond to be there. All the star seed who have gone through so much hardship to bring in the dedication, the frequency, the light to help. So
the real ones, you know what I mean? Like, the real ones, we're burning the candle on both ends.
Oh, totally.
I
mean, I don't even remember, seriously, I can't remember consciously the last time I took a real vacation.
That's how you know you're a real one. Let me get a thumbs up from everyone across the planet if you can't remember the last time you took a vacation,
I mean,
Vi-
Lily, literally, I can't remember. I talk with my husband, Peter, who now,
yes,
and we
yes,
look at
yes.
each other and we go, huh, we got married in 2020 and we never went on a honeymoon because we have too much work to do. I mean, that's dedication. I mean, it's just, we're here to really uplift you. Yes, we have traveled a lot in the last 3 years, not for vacation. We were there to do the Grid Works conference,
Yes.
tour, spiritual. I was getting requests from aquatic rays to restore a very ancient intergalactic structure of communication that was destroyed a long time ago. And I was sitting on the beach being worked on with their hands on my skull and all kind of things like that. And then you come back, you say, okay, where do we go next? And then Gaia comes to me, oh, the animal kingdom needs you. Okay, let's go see the animal kingdom. You come back home and we need a vacation from our work because we have worked so much.
Mhm.
We spent a month in Australia doing all kind of work around Australia, spent 2 very intensive weeks in Uluru to the
Mhm.
secret site with Katajuta and other place. We came back home. Within 3 days, I was back to my work. And then,
Yes.
then 4 weeks later, I was on the boat with Shanna, Peter, and others for Neil and Alan Galactic Origin Cruise so I can do the work with the Mayan timeline. And I did not know then I would be under attack by the AI. They were drilling my energy to get to my DNA because they're fascinated with my DNA.
Mhm.
And then, we had a reptilian on board the ship that was scratching Peter on his forehead because he was protecting me. And then
Yes.
we have someone at the conference, I won't say who, but I'm tempted to, but I won't say
No,
anything.
no, don't do it. It's already been reported. As soon as I heard about it, I was like, okay, let's take a look at that. Yep.
Oh, yeah. And then brought in dark beings and distorted light language. And I'm like, okay, let's bring the work. What can we do to be of service? But you know what, Rion? One of the routine I do, I think
Mhm.
it's going to be inspirational.
Yes.
When I wake up in the morning, I call that returning into this dimension. When I unconsciously return in my body, I open my eyes. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm back in this reality. I'm back with Gaia now. I take a deep breath and look at the clock. I think about the wonderful people I'll be working with today. I open my third eye. I do a gentle circular movement clockwise.
Mhm.
I open my heart and I ask, what blessings hold this day? How can I be of service to the light today? And that's how
Mhm.
I start. And then I step out of the bed and then I start my day. That's exactly what I always do. How can I be of service? Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful compliment. I'm a very good speaker. I appreciate it. It's been many years now. I have quite a quite a few mileage under my belt by now. So
Oh no,
um,
you're no. Come on, that's why you're Rise of the Guardians. That's why you're one of the speakers.
I am
You know,
honored to be. I remember when you invited me. I remember distinctly. We were in Alaska on
we
that
were in
cruise
Alaska on
together.
that.
Yeah,
Yep, on that
on that
cruise.
seminar at sea, Contact at Sea,
Yeah, contact
and
us.
and then you and Shanna talked about this absolutely exciting event, and I knew in my heart right away the rise of the Guardians. Just to feel the frequency of those words, the rise of the Guardians. You can feel that presence. There's an emanation of power that is us reclaiming our authority, our light,
Yes.
remembering the fullness of who we are, and we are walking side by side with Gaia because she's ready. Gaia is shifting in the higher timeline. That is what this Cosmic Gateway is about. It is really much about we are supporting that. It is our time. We are rising together. And thank you so much for bringing me on board for this phenomenal, phenomenal
Listen, the
gathering.
the Arcturians. Hey, my Arcturian, my higher self. I call him Sifu. I don't know. I could probably get his real name, but I call him Sifu. He's always kind to me. He's highly intelligent. His data input is 10x what my normal 3D computer down here is processing. It's almost like he watches to see if I will learn life's lessons and be calmer, more balanced, and learn to wield my energy and my power in a way that is deemed respectable and in accordance with universal laws. So he has always been there with me. He always monitors me, but it's sometimes in our meditations, we need to kind of reach a little higher sometimes. I feel a lot of people when they're doing their meditations, they got their 4D right here in your ear. Let's go to Vegas and drink some tequila, spend all of our savings. There's your 4D in a nutshell. Then you got your 5D, let's come from our hearts, But the Arcturians, 9, 11, 13D and up, and they're compressing down just to be in your presence. So very wise, elegant beings. So again, anyone that rocks that, they're very elegant, they're very high level, and listen, they must have a great sense of humor. I know they don't. Listen, I try to joke with my guy. He's very straight faced. I'm like, come on, that was funny. He's like, come on. You know what I mean? He's like, come on, you could do better than that. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Okay.
It shows some, he's like, show some, some grace. And I'm like, that was funny. They're like, he's more like, will you stop making fun of your lower selves? Can you stop? like he's more like, can you stop making fun of the grays? Like, we all know, we all see it. Yes, can you stop saying the reptilians need to take a shower? It's weird. Can you stop? So what I'm trying to get to is, no, listen, there's good reptilians and bad ones.
True.
Okay. I'm just being real. There's some very sexy, awesome, nice reptilians. I love you. But then there are also, when you were talking about the black dragons is what you really wanted to say, the dark aura. And what you're really talking about also the Sakar, right? And some of the stuff we're cleaning up, some of these guys and booting out of here, right? The main thing is as these beings shift off world, who are the light beings that are replacing those frequency or terminals, and who is then stepping into a more balanced manner to actually operate that old system as we bring it online. We were sent in here to facilitate grace. Okay? Let's explain the difference what real grace is. First person has never skateboarded before, tries to do a kick flip. Guy tries to do a kick flip, he falls on his butt, he fails. Then you go, hey, Tony Hawk, can you come down here and do a kick flip? He does a kick flip, nails it like it was effortless, like he didn't even try. It was graceful. Our oversouls want to assist humanity in making a graceful transition. So it's time for some of us to really kind of put the unconscious stuff away, step into your power, step into your grace, and then, balance the entire, and balance this world in a way that really shines that divine spark that's within you, that unconditional love that's inside of you. Graceful, You can be sarcastic. Listen, I'm not taking away your jokes or your sarcasm. You can still keep that. It keeps you sane down here. But the truth is to stay graceful within your heart and your actions and lead by example, not blame one another from all your differences or this guy's, I can't even tell you. We go to these conferences sometimes. You're like, that guy's compromised. That guy's compromised. That guy's Mossad. That guy's owned by the Rothschilds. I mean, some of us who are really aware, we're like, yeah, you. But at the same time, do they still have their divine spark? Can they still wake up from this illusion, step back into their sovereignty, take control of their stream once again, and come from their heart? We want to believe that everyone can become the best version of themselves. You know what I mean? If that's what our creator is, hey, we're just here to get through this maze faster and try to get everyone up as fast as possible. So that's how I feel. How do you feel about that, Viviane?
Well, to summarize what you said, I just want to observe it. I love the complementary of energy between you and I, Rion. I love the way you bring it. I am profoundly Arcturian, and I know I have learned to be human, but my nature is an Arcturian. So everything I do, I say, or behave, or feel, will reflect that. So from our perspective, is that that divine grace that you spoke of, it's really much is going to accelerate for each and every one of us that beautiful energy of moving back into that space. And one of the things that the celestial beings have taught me over the years is that either way, the good news is that souls are allowed to evolve. Look at people here who are very engaged in the false security of the 3D matrix reality, the construct, the news, all of this. send them just love, hold them in the highest light. You know what? Because what a celestial being have shown me is that there is a group of souls
Mhm.
on the planet. They're here to learn about their karmic lesson. They're here to learn through the third density, and they will be allowed to continue their evolution to the middle timeline of the third density. And
Yes.
so, those of us, for the mass majority, and obviously you watching this right now, you are more ready to embrace the higher timeline.
Hmm.
And then just understand that there's no one left behind. It's still evolution. And
Right.
that's one thing that brings a lot of peace, allows you to release entanglements or a false sense of responsibility and heavy burden. Give yourself the complete permission to evolve at the measurement of what your soul blueprint has come to do in this
Hmm.
lifetime, because that's what the celestial beings show. We are going to let all these souls look at the grays. We talked about them earlier. I think
Right.
they're adorable. They're cute. I like,
Yeah.
this is my
I
Octran.
mean, Musk is trying to make robots. I'm like, hey, can I just have some grays? No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
it's
They have way cooler tech. I mean, I'll just have a couple of grays. No, I'm just kidding.
I know what you mean. Well,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
again utilizing an old cliche to maybe sustain an underlying fear energy in the subconscious mind
Mhm.
of humanity. But look at a civilization as complex as they are.
Mhm.
They too have been allowed to evolve, and now they're rekindling with that part of themselves that they felt was lost in translation. So
Mhm.
every being, even the darkest beings, so to speak, or those who really lost their ways and created a lot of distortion and manipulation, that there's how they're really advanced, beautiful beings of light who take those beings and help them to coach them to re-evolve. I know the
Yes.
Octurans were expert as I'm gonna attempt a joke here, so bear with me.
Okay. No, I felt the
Octurans,
humor coming. Here we go.
here we are. Octurans, we are expert at reforming reptilians. We are expert at it.
That's good.
It was good, right?
That's
I said
good.
I with a punch, I would have, little bit of humor. But it's true. We have helped many of them return to the light. I can
Mhm.
tell in my personal journey, I used to be with a reptilian in this
Mhm.
lifetime.
Yes.
And the love, the true love that was conveyed, helped that soul to transit. That soul no longer on the planet, and the body left behind as another reptile that came through. That's another story. But the soul that was there was returned to the light, and I've seen that soul. And that was the power of the love that was shown to this one being who was a very hardcore reptilian, very polarized, very lost, very engaged in a distorted paradigm, but the power of love was able to uplift that soul. And so it can be done. It doesn't mean that it's all of them, it's our path, but it's just to see that stay in your light, stay in your power,
Mhm.
and choose what timeline are you ready to be on? What timeline are you ready to uplift and sustain in frequency, stability, mastery, and cultivation, and
Mhm.
allow other souls to get their evolve the way they need to. There's a lot of powerful beings who help them. These ultra celestial beings, who they are magnificent. And when they come and they present themselves,
Yes.
phew, it's
I'll give you guys a visual of sometimes when I get a little rowdy and I'm up here in the mountains and I'll go up in the mountains at night sometimes and I put my music on and I'm starting to move energy. And I call him my highest, back in the day before the word, I don't know, even God was written. I believe highest was always a form of that, a definition of it. But the being that's closest on my light polarity, closest, my highest light is what I call him, closest to that real true creator. And I just want to give you guys a visual of us being angels here to serve humanity, whatever race or species, whatever part of this universe or galaxy you come from. But I want to remind you how I'm spoken to, and maybe this helps. Son, where is your grace? Why did you do that? Where is your grace, son? So, like, say we get in a fight with a bunch of guys on this planet. Say we overuse our energy, right, to balance because we're upset of how we were treated. Being an adult, a spiritual adult, is knowing that you have that power. It's it's speaking softly and carrying a big stick, let's just say. But really what it is we're down here to save and assist as many members of our family as humanly, angelically, energetically possible. The entire, you know what I mean? You guys came down here to help the entire planet. Don't discern between these beings or these beings, right? Or this species or that species. Those light beings, those beings that are ready to shift, help them, son, and show them that true grace. Be the embodiment of the creator, right? Our creator in the flesh. Be the true conduits of creation in this physical form and really become the light. Become that light that everyone seeks. Become the love that everyone, is pulled toward. Become that magnetism that draws everyone close and back into your heart. So I say that as we wrap up here, but just remember your grace, remember your age, and remember we are all here as one, and we shall return home as one once again. Viviane, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our broadcast here today for Rise of the Guardians. How can everyone find you?
Well, the pleasure is all mine, and I'm really excited about the conference coming up, starting on March 29, coming up, really much so. Rise of the Guardians, join us; it's going to be phenomenal. The best way to reach us is on my website. I was going to say on my Full of Grace, on my website, infinitehealingfromthestars.com. I am the founder of the Universal Arcturian online community. We have incredible memberships, master course, gatherings we offer every month, working with our members, gatherings, retreat. It's a lot of beautiful teachings, including the Arcturian holographic group healing every month. So our community is, very much the cream of the crop. People who come and work with us, they're dedicated, they're beautiful human beings, beautiful star seeds like you. And thank you, beautiful Arcturian, also star seeds here. There's a few of us in the star seed form. It's very uneasy for us to be in this field. Syrians are a little bit more adapted, but for us, what a challenge. But we're in this together. So definitely check out our website. The conference is also on their events. It's already posted there. Mm-hmm. So one way or another, to your website or the YouTube channel, to our website, it's there. You can sign up today. We invite you to do that. And of course, become a member of our online community, because we're going into the higher timeline. And this is my purpose. I'm here for the future timeline, and we're going for it. So you're welcome to join us, right? You too.
Yes.
We're going for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here today. If you guys want to come to the conference March 29th and 30th, check out teamlightstore.com. Check out infinitehealingfromthestars.com for Viviane. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys here today. Till next time, peace.